Alright, Vagabond. I managed to seal up those leaks that we had from all that snow that came down, and I moved on to sealing the floor with the converter. I got that done. Now I'm moving to patching up the holes and insulating the floor, so it's going to be a fun time. Stay tuned. Also, I managed to use some of this great stuff, expanding foam insulator. This stuff's really cool. Although if you get it on you, it's almost impossible to get off. I filled these cavities that they basically don't come off. There's a couple of cavities that the panels just aren't removable, so I found holes and I filled it with this stuff. I used an entire can, so I think it did the job, but every little bit of insulation is going to help when it comes to controlling the temperature on this bus. Yeah. Okay, so the floors are converted. Some of the cavities are sealed up with some of the great stuff. I've got all my metal prefabbed to fit in and cover the holes that we're going to cover once we get to that point. First, I had to make a structural box to go over where the fuel system is. This was all pretty much rusted out, and I basically ripped it and cut it out so that I can rebuild something to give it some structural security here, some structural stability here that's going to support the weight once we get it on here. I'm basically just creating a hatch from leftover metal pieces that we had. I cut them to give us that box form, and I think this is going to work for making sure that we still have a hatch that we can get to once the floors are laid down, so that we can still access this if we need to, or a mechanic can access it. I'm sure I won't be accessing it. I don't really know anything about what's going on here, except for the gas comes in right there, and that's the gas tank. So check it out. I've got some self-tappers. I'm gonna lay this down. That's it. That's all I needed to do, is tack it down and make sure it doesn't go anywhere. So, done. Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be good enough. This, my friends, is good enough. Voila! I've got a hatch. I mean, aside from just some cleanup that I'll do when I'm covering the holes, I think this is good to go. I have a big piece of sheet metal. I'll essentially be laying this over most of the holes in this area. Once I do that, I'll have to cut a hole here so that we can still access that. And I think we're good. All right, Vagabonds, we are entering the last phase of the floor fix. Okay, the converter's down, it's been activated. I've done some repair work on getting the box built around the fuel system area. that should work really good for giving us some stability when it comes to laying down the sheet metal. Now I'm going to fill in all the gaps with this Henry's roofing plastic. Okay, this stuff is basically, I'm going to lay down a layer of it, and then I'm going to put down some of the roofing paper. It's asphalt felt on top of the Henry's plastic. It's basically going to cover the floors. And then I'm going to lay down another layer of that and then put my sheet metal down. So stick around, this is going to be fun. It's going to be a little bit messy, but this is going to complete our floor reno, and we'll be able to build on up from here on out. Yay! Okay, Vagabonds. The process of hole sealing is already in effect. I can't take you through the entire process because it's messy, and I don't want to mess with the camera too much and gunk it all up. I had the same issue when I was converting the floors. I used the spray paint method, and there was a lot of spray paint dust in the air, and I just didn't want to mess up the camera equipment, so I opted to not record that. Not a big deal. We got a few pictures. I'll add them in. Jen was kind enough to come through and snap a couple of shots. This, on the other hand, I'm in the process of a break, so I can manage the camera as well. If you noticed in the past videos, there was a big hole here, another big hole here. All I've really done is taken the asphalt paper, cut it to size, coated it very well with the Henry's plastic roof repair, and put it over the holes. Sealed it down. I feathered over a little bit just so the paper would adhere good. The next process will be covering it with the sheet metal, and I'll have virtually a solid waterproof floor. It's taken a little while, but I don't really have a choice. I've got to get these holes sealed up. That's that. Okay, this is generally what it looks like before I start adding the asphalt paper and the cement. Of course, I'll get the holes here on the side as well, but we'll start with around the trying to do it in smaller patches just to make it a little bit more manageable. If I have these big sheets of asphalt that have goop on it, it's a little bit harder to manage, so this seems to be the ticket here.